So the good news, bad news today is I've got a local search presentation here that is far longer than 20 minutes. And the reason I have that is so as you guys have takeaways and you are up late at night tossing and turning and having problems sleeping, there's some meaty content here you can refer back to and work through some of these things yourself. So some of these slides I'm really going to flash through, and we'll take some in Q&A and then out in the hallway or anywhere else. Just at a high level, what is this local search that we're talking about, and why should you care? For a long time, we've had kind of classic Google search, a whole bunch of text listings, 10 on a page and roughly 10 advertisements. Google started to figure out, hey, those yellow pages, folks, they've got lots of money, and we want that too. How are we going to get their money? And so over the last several years, Google, in their quest for more and more money, only so they can do good in the world, mind you. I mean, their mission is to do good, but they need your money in order to do that. You exist to feed Google, so they can go do good somewhere else. And actually, that's very important to remember. Anyone here advertise on Google? Okay, just as a reminder, you are two creatures to Google. Google's customers are all of us in this room as individual consumers. Google's advertisers are not Google's customers. So the businesses that write checks to Google are like the cows to the farmer. Farmer doesn't dislike the cows. The farmer wants to figure out what's the least amount of feed I can give the cow while maximizing milk production. So that doesn't make the farmer evil, but recognize that as advertisers, it's a very important philosophical thing to realize, as advertisers, you are not Google's customers. You're what feeds Google's great mission to go organize all of your information so they can make money off of it. Now, Google's mission to organize the world's information, to organize other people's information and monetize it for their benefit. So as consumers, Google does a darn good job. They needed more money, and they needed to have local search. And most searches out there ultimately have local intent. There's a whole big industry of e-commerce and internet retailer companies and Amazon, eBay, all those big names. It's a drop in the bucket compared to the offline impact of search. We see that every day. Real estate is a classic example. Most of the really big purchases that happen, this is 90% by transaction, not 90% by value. When you look at the size of the purchases and it's looking at houses and cars, it's pretty much all local. Remote purchases are a rounding error. So Google wanted a piece of that money. And what did they do? They started popping this up in searches, which was both a blessing and a curse. Fairly distressing to some of you who'd done a darn good job of being ahead of the curve, got out there on Google and ranking on the textual listings, and then up pops this bloomin' map. One of the outfits that we've done a fair amount of work with is a large player in the vacation travel space. And they had an automated rankings checking tool, and had #1 listings for vacation rentals just about everywhere. And a while ago, I guess this is about 12 months now, maybe 18, they started, I don't know what's going on. Our traffic's fallen off a cliff, but boy, our tools tells us we're still ranking #1. Well, it's this map. Sometimes you go halfway down the page before you start seeing your classic SEO listings. This is a new search engine. It is a different search engine. It is an entirely different algorithm than the core Google. This is driven off of their maps technology. Understanding this now and owning this now and pouring the right foundation on this now and getting a leg up on your competitors is important, not just because it's there in classic Google eating up all the real estate and growing, but also because this is how Google intends to own mobile. So when you think of a mobile device, what are we generally looking for in a mobile device? Directions, location, things of that nature. And it's distressing how few folks, a lot of restaurants, there's one in town here, and I won't name the owners, they're actually friends of mine. They went and got one of these flashy designers who built them some kind of goofy website going in 20 different directions. It's a beautiful piece of art. It doesn't resolve on an iPhone. So when you're looking for Phil's Ice House and you're trying to get there, you can't on an iPhone. Be careful of that with your websites as well. Think about that, because some of the templatized sites are not necessarily the best for the 10-pack, which is now a 7-pack. One of the great points here, this is evolving rapidly. Of all the pieces of Google, classic Google is not changing with gigantic leaps and bounds. That's more mature. The two parts of the Google search engines, because Google has multiple search engines. They've got an image search engine and a blog search engine and a news search engine. The two that are most relevant for you folks, we're just talking about local and maps now, but are the map and video. Both of those are evolving at a rapid clip. A few months ago, they moved it down to 7 listings. One other point I want to make, this is going to be less relevant for you. I'll make sure you get a copy of my updated one as well. This is really important. If you go and search for Austin real estate agent or Austin real estate broker, you'll find the map. And for a long time, you needed that local word, Austin or Las Vegas, to find the map. Google's changed that. If they're going to beat the yellow pages, and for that matter, Yelp and City Search and all of those things that are in their target sites. So if you're writing a lot of money to Yelp right now, think about how do I put that into Google Local instead? Because Google's going to win that battle. All you have to do is put in real estate agent or real estate broker. You don't have to put Austin anymore. And Google pulls up the map already localized. Google's database now looks at searches for things like lawyer, plumber, realtor. Not realtor they don't, but real estate agent and real estate broker they do. Realtor they will down the road. I think there are some lobbying efforts that the National Associations of Realtors and Realtor.com are doing to try to stop them from doing it, because it is going to just strip the business away from Realtor.com when Google takes a search for realtor and starts showing the map with all of your properties on it. But fundamentally, at the end of the day, Google doesn't care. It's going to come down to what makes Google more money. I'm sorry, what enhances the user experience for all of us as individual customers of Google. Good news is the basics of local SEO are really straightforward. You can do this yourself, or you can hand it down to your marketing team. Where it gets tricky is how to actually get the rankings, but the basics are simple. You register individually with the search engines. This is different than normal Google. Normal Google, if someone comes to you and says, we submit to the search engines, you want to kind of give them a gentle kick and push them out the door because they're a pirate. Google doesn't like to be submitted to in Google Classic. Google likes to think they found you. Now, there are ways of basically taking the wallet that's your website and laying it right down in the path of the Google spider as it's walking down the web and say, oh, look, I found this website. So you can ensure that you get in the Google index without submitting to Google. Google Local is different. They want to be submitted to. They are at the early phase out there where they are aggressively looking for content, and you've got a real chance to optimize it. There's also, we like these guys, it's sort of a meta site, getlisted.org, that allows you to submit to several places in one location. So it's kind of a tool that helps you with local. If you have lots of things you're trying to get going, if you have the time, it's always best to hand tailor each of the individual sites. But Get Listed will let you do a lot of the Google functionality, and then make sure that you don't have to go through all that rigmarole again with Bing and Yahoo. Let's take a look within the Google engine itself. It's called the Google Local Business Center. And they have a pretty good interface. They walk you right through it. It's pretty straightforward. A couple screens. You do need a Google account. And Google loves for you to have that Google account. If you don't have one yet, you're not giving Google enough information to own the world. So you need to get a Google account and help these guys out. So, this is part of the step down the process. Add a new business. If you have 50 locations, some of our clients have thousands. You can bulk upload a data file. It is hard to get a bulk upload to rank really well. Just one tip here. I'll take an aside. One of the things you can do that almost nobody in your space does